If you film with the GoPro Hero 13 Black like I do, and have always wondered what's the difference between standard HDR and HLG HDR, today hopefully I'm going to answer the question for myself as well as hopefully for you. I know that what HDR is from photography as far as high dynamic range. The HL HDR is a different codec and it's more designed for broadcast television. And if you're doing a flight video that's only from the GoPro, that's going to be a great format to use. We can export it to Rec 709. So hopefully today we can still see the difference between the two. Hopefully it's a little bit better, but we'll find out here shortly. I've printed a 3D mount here, a 3D printed mount for my quad here, so we can get a direct comparison. We can go back, we can actually look at the video frame by frame and see what the differences are and is it really worth it. There's only the only disadvantages that are to the HDRs, you do lose some of the frame rates as well as your frame size. It limits you to 16:9 or 8:7. The first thing we need to do is we need to turn on the HDR in our camera. So what you're going to want to do is touch on the menu button on the lower right-hand corner. That's going to display your settings. The HDR setting as well as standard and HLG HDR are kind of hidden. You have to scroll down, then you'll see it at the top. Touch the HDR. Now you're in HDR, but you see you've lost some of your resolution. The other problem that you have, or not necessarily a problem or limitation, is it automatically changes the ISO to a limit of a minimum of 100 and a maximum of 1600. Normally I film my normal videos, I limit the ISO to a minimum of 100 and a maximum of 800 to get the less grainy video. So today what I've done is on my standard setup here on this quad, I've changed the standard so it has the same ISO rating as the camera on the top here that's going to be the HDR. So let me go ahead and get my goggles. Let's get the first flight in and then we'll do the second flight and then we'll go back, we'll take a look at the footage and let's see what the difference is. Now we've completed the first flight, so let me go ahead and change the camera settings and then we'll do the second flight and then get back into the studio. If you've made it this far in the video, I certainly would appreciate it if you could maybe click that like button or give me the thumbs up there and subscribe for more content like this. Let's get back in the air. Well, that completes our second flight. So let's go ahead and go back into the studio and process this footage and take a look at it, and hopefully we'll be able to tell the difference. hopefully now you have more insight on what the HDR and HLG HDR video settings do on the GoPro Hero 13 here. Drop me a comment below and let me know which profile you prefer. I have my own opinions. A lot of it depends on, in my cases, what I'm actually going to be filming, but definitely leave me a comment below. Tell me which one you prefer and why, and maybe some filming scenarios that you're actually going to be using it for, why you might want to use standard or HDR, or even your process, because like I said earlier in the video, the HLG HDR is a different color space. It's not Rec 709, so it has different color capabilities. None of this footage was actually color graded. It was right out of the camera. So once you color grade it, it's going to be more pronounced, and especially the HLG HDR, you can really liven it up and make it look like something. If you don't yet have a GoPro, as you see here, they're making all sorts of neat colors now. I'm going to drop a link in the description below. If you purchase from the link, that does help the channel grow. We certainly do appreciate it. And thanks again for watching. We'll definitely catch you on the next one.